Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are. Welcome to Cannon Fodder, the channel for Arsenal fans all over this world. And it's the evening, slightly earlier version of the live news during the evening. I'm waiting for my partner in crime, who's just actually joined me now, James Rowe, and we're going to be talking about something slightly different, although we try and cover some of the latest news right here on this channel, which is known as Cannon Fodder. Yeah, so welcome back to a slightly earlier segment of live news. It's going to be slightly different. I've got my good friend in James Rowe. We're going to talk about a topic that's kind of I would say like hit home the issue in regards to a different language, but it's going to be slightly different. But like the message is always the same. For those of you that come in live now, can you make sure you subscribe to Cannon 40 TV? Hit the bell notification button so you can receive all the latest news right here on this wonderful channel, which is known as Cannon for the TV. James!
Can you hear me, Alex?
We can hear you loud and clear.
Can you hear me okay?
Yeah, we can.
Good. A really interesting podcast coming up. I'm really looking forward to it.
Absolutely. So, like I said, the base is going to be surrounded. We spoke about this early. I think it was Monday or Tuesday, actually. In regards to the comments made by Martin Keown. And Martin Keown made certain comments about Mikel Arteta. He does say Martin Keown has expressed some concerns over Mikel Arteta's decision to speak multiple languages to Arsenal's players. Arteta has been heard on the touchline giving instructions in French, Spanish, of course in English, and sometimes in Portuguese. And he does say that he's worried because he's thinking, well, I think I speak 4 or 5 different languages. And I'm worried because I like to hear some of it in English. If I'm an English player, I'd like to hear those instructions made in English. Nonetheless, Mikel Arteta is a fantastic communicator and he does get his message across. But I do wonder sometimes, what would it feel like being an English player, listening to those instructions being relayed in English, well, maybe Spanish, Portuguese, and maybe some other language there as well. From my point of view, James, actually, welcome, James. Thank you for coming back on this special podcast we're doing here. I'm born and bred in England, and my parents come from a small Caribbean island known as Dominica, where they speak broken French, also known as Creole. For some strange reason, James, we didn't learn it at home growing up. We heard it quite a lot, mum and dad speaking the language, but I just kind of found it really hard to kind of get my ear attuned to listen to Creole. But I'm fluent in Spanish. I'm self-taught. But what are yourself? What you can actually tell us about your expertise in speaking a different language, James?
Well, first and foremost, my best subject at school was French. And that gave me kind of really the belief that I could go on to do something special. For viewers that don't know, I'm originally from the UK, but I emigrated to the Netherlands nearly 15 years ago. So I have been speaking Dutch day in, day out for the last 15 years. And it's put me in a position to not only enjoy life in the Netherlands immensely, but also to be able to interview Dutch professional players and managers in their mother tongue. And I just think that people who are very quick to judge regarding foreign languages, first and foremost, they need to ask themselves how many languages do they speak, because at the moment we're seeing a lot of in terms of a lot being done in as regards to racism, and quite rightly so. Change is coming, and people better get used to it. But I think just behind racism is the creeping up of xenophobia. And I want to warn against that. I always say that, when you learn a foreign language, it is one of the best skills a human can have. It's one of the best skills any human can have, regardless of age. And today is like a short podcast, Alex, to kind of educate people before they insult, before they presume, and before they judge. They need to understand what journey that person has been on in terms of learning a foreign language to achieve fluency. For me, my Dutch is as good as my English. People mistake me for being Dutch in the Netherlands.
Mm.
It's only when they hear my name, James, or I tell them about my past and my mother and my sister, that they say, "Oh, you're not, but you wasn't raised bilingual." I said, "No, I wasn't raised bilingual at all. I come here at 21." I said, "But I fought tooth and nail, and I never gave in." And it's put me in a position today where I'm extremely happy in the Netherlands. It's been the most successful, and the most happiest time of my life. But partly due to the fact that I learnt Dutch to the best of my ability, to feel fully integrated into Dutch society, and also the cherry on top with my own hobby. Speaking to the likes of Ricky van Wolfswinkel, Martijn Roos, Jean-Paul Boetius in their mother tongue. Maurice Stein as well, who's now manager of NAC Breda. It's a fantastic cherry on the top. But as I say, today's podcast for me is to just let people know that before they judge, just be aware of the journey that person has been on or still may be on regarding learning the language to the best of their ability. I think people in Great Britain, for example, we see the rise in cases of people get angry and agitated when they hear a foreign language, and they want to kind of pounce and go on the attack. But maybe they're talking to holidaymakers who are in Great Britain on holiday. Obviously not at the moment due to COVID, but maybe they're talking to holidaymakers. But I've seen images of people bellowing out, "This is England and you need to speak English," when people are on holiday. They are on holiday enjoying Great Britain and enjoying England. And as I say, I'm delighted that in terms of racism that work is being done and there's changes coming. I think it's fantastic. But I think we've also got to be aware of the potential rise of xenophobia when there's no need for it. There is absolutely no need for it. And, when you get the opportunity to learn a foreign language, my advice to anyone, regardless of age, take that opportunity. And you have to fight tooth and nail. You get a lot of people, Alex, saying, "Oh, it's too difficult. Oh, I gave up. Oh, they didn't understand me. They just carried on speaking in English." You have to fight through that barrier.
Yeah.
I'll tell you a story. When I first started to speak Dutch, every single answer I would say, every single question I would ask, the answer would come back in English. And I thought, my goodness. And I literally had to ask people in the beginning, "Could you please speak Dutch with me? I'm trying to learn to the best of my ability. And obviously I need time." And then when you get to a certain level, you don't have to ask that question anymore because they understand you straight away. You get a lot of people that get embarrassed when they speak a foreign language, that they're embarrassed to make mistakes. But I'm not sorry to give a spoiler alert. You are going to make mistakes, but you have to learn from those mistakes. Truth be told, Alex, when I first started speaking Dutch, I was awful, absolutely awful. And I kept fighting and fighting and fighting. And now, unless I tell people I'm British, they don't know the difference. And that just goes to show the level that's been attained, where people speak to me in Dutch and they think, "Oh, you're Dutch yourself." No, I'm British. But this is what I mean about fighting. And I don't mean fighting in terms of physical punch ups. I mean never, ever, ever giving up. Never, ever giving up. I remember being at school in England and we used to have French, and there would be a class of around 30. You'd have 5 of the 30, including myself, who would concentrate and hang on every single word that the teacher had to say. And then the other 25 just saw it as an opportunity to waste time and ruin it for others. I go back to my GCSEs. We had, back in my day, I'm not so old, I'm mid-30s for people who don't know, but I did do my GCSEs. In my GCSEs, you had to choose different options. And I remember it was a green form, and we had to circle one subject in each box. And to my horror, French and German was in the same box. And I went to the head of year and I said, "Look, I want to study both. Please let me study both." And she wouldn't let me. She wouldn't let me. And I chose French, which was my better subject, but I had to choose a subject that I wasn't necessarily interested in to forego learning German. I can't speak German. I speak English, Dutch, Spanish, French, and a little bit of Portuguese. And but this is going back almost 20 years now, 22, 23 years. And I think the English and British education system as well. There are British people around the world in Europe and South America who speak different languages to a tremendous level. These people need to be celebrated because we do exist. We do exist. The prejudice that the whole world speaks English. Nothing could be further from the truth. We're on a
Absolutely.
foot. We're on a
Yeah.
football. We are on a football show. So I'll give you a little football anecdote. In 2008, I flew to Milan from Amsterdam to watch Arsenal against AC Milan. I took my Italian phrase book with me, and I needed that phrase book every single day. I went to the international tourist office in Milan. I was at the time I was 24 years old, 25 years old, and I went to the international tourist office to ask them, "Can you please tell me which bus I need to get to go to the San Siro, because I wanted to go on a tour as a San Siro." And I had to search the phrase in my book, and I still remember the phrase. This is going back how many years ago now? 12 years ago now. I remember saying, I don't speak Italian, but I remember saying "Buongiorno, dove la autobus a San Siro?" And
Okay.
and then they told me it was 94, which was number 94. And I
Almost
took
four.
that
Yeah.
bus from the city centre all the way to the San Siro. But this myth where everybody speaks English, nothing can be further from the truth. And the people that think this is fine, well, you need to be aware. You need to be aware of what goes on elsewhere. There's a wonderful football story regarding Marcelo Bielsa. Marcelo Bielsa has made Leeds into a Premier League side, has made Calvin Phillips into an international player. And this is a man born in Rosario in Argentina, who's coached the majority of his career in Argentina. The man is 65 years old, and he has the opportunity to manage Leeds United. Marcelo Bielsa, Alex, has been in England for 30 months, and people are lamenting the fact that he doesn't speak English. Once again, the man is 65 years old, and he was born and raised in Rosario in Argentina. If you really wanted to turn it around, why don't the British sports writers and journalists ask questions in foreign languages? I can do that. I do it almost every single day, especially when speaking to Dutch players. I've been doing it for 4 years nearly non-stop. So I can do it standing on my head. But
James,
if you've got,
let,
if you,
let me just stop you there a
sorry,
second.
yeah,
Let me just say to like, there's like almost 50 live viewers now. James and myself, I've met James on numerous occasions, and we're probably in the minority in regards to supporting Unai Emery. You think
mm,
about this guy who came over here. He's a multiple winner in the Europa League. I would die for Arsenal to win the Europa League there. He did his
mm,
first conference in English. English was not and is not his first language. But
mm,
how many of the live viewers will be willing to go and do a live conference in a language which is not your mother tongue there?
yeah,
I support this guy, even though he was kicked out
mm,
of Arsenal quite
mm,
unceremoniously. But to learn a new language can be so enriching. And
mm,
James is right that I don't want to generalize, but we have this kind of mentality where if foreigners come over here, we demand them to speak English. But yet
mm,
when we go to their countries, we are not willing to learn their language.
mm,
I remember, James, before I went to go and live and work in Costa Rica, Central America, I would be up in the morning, 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning. They used to have a program on BBC called Bite Size Spanish, where you could practice all the small modules there, to do the introductions, asking for places, the colors, the numbers. 2, 3 o'clock in the morning, James, I'll be up in the morning trying to learn the Spanish language. And
mm,
I speak Spanish fluently. My wife is Colombian, but
mm,
this notion about, we demand people to speak English. And when we go to their country, we don't want to speak their English,
mm,
their language. It
mm,
can be so enriching. I'm very proud of myself that
mm,
I'm self-taught, James, in the
mm,
Spanish language. I hated French, James. I hated speaking French at school and learning French. But to say that I can speak, of course, I can speak English, I can speak Spanish, a little bit of French, a little bit of Greek as well.
mm,
to learn a new language can be it opens so many doors of opportunities. Monty,
Absolutely.
who's our moderator, he speaks three languages.
Mm.
3 languages. It's so
Fantastic.
enriching. And I would say anyone who wants to learn a language, do it younger. The younger you are, the easier it is for you. The older you get, it can be more difficult. But like James says, never give up. Never give
Never
up.
give up. And this is what I mean about showing the fight. You got up in the early hours in the morning showing that fight. Some people would stay in bed. Oh, I don't want to get up today. You showed that fight, and look at the reward you've got. We are we are both British, born and raised, and
Absolutely.
here we are, and here we are doing a podcast together where one is fluent in Spanish and one is fluent in Dutch. But we are both British, born and raised, so it
Yeah,
can be done. It
it
can
can
be
be done.
done. If you look at Tim Vickery, one of the finest football writers there is, the man is an absolute credit to his profession. I think he's been living in Rio de Janeiro for, I think, a quarter of a century, I think,
Oh, yeah.
and maybe even
Yes.
longer. But when you hear the man speak Portuguese, you think the man is Brazilian because he is that good, because he's world class, because of the small, finer details. The man is just a joy to listen to. Obviously, I listen to him in English and sometimes in Portuguese, but just an absolute credit to his profession. And, he's also learnt Portuguese to the best of his ability. And it can be done. It
It
can
can
be
be done.
done.
Yeah.
A lot of people like to shy away and say, no, I studied Dutch. I went to evening school here. I went to evening school in 2005 when I first arrived. My first lesson, Alex, we had 20 people in a room. My final exam, there was 4 of us, and I was the only man. It was me and 3 other girls. And
Wow.
I just remember when I got my certificate of Nederlands Tweede Taal, which is Dutch as a second language.
Mm.
I was skipping down the road, and back then it wasn't so easy with iPhones and mobiles. I used a payphone to ring my mother, and I
Mm.
rang my mother and I said, "I've passed, I've passed, I've passed," and it was just a culmination of blood, sweat, and toil. I remember going to see an English language film with Italian language film with Penelope Cruz, and
Mm.
I went to buy my ticket in the cinema. I'd only been living here 5 months. And the lady said to me, "Can you speak Italian?" I said, "No." She said, "Well, it's only Dutch subtitles." I said, "I'll be okay." And when I come out, I understood what the film was all about. And there were little points to me where I thought, this is happening here. Because as you know, someone who's learnt a foreign language, you go up in levels. It's not simply the case of you get a certificate and you're there.
Yeah.
You go up, it's like an elevator, you're going all the way up, and it's little bit by little bit by little bit, and you get a lot of stories by people saying, oh, I gave up, I wasn't I didn't I didn't feel as if I had the confidence. Confidence
Yeah.
is key.
Yeah.
Confidence is
Absolutely.
key, and you've got
Hey,
to just never give in, and
yeah.
always let people know that you're willing. If anybody is watching this show tonight, anyone, regardless of age, regardless of situation, regardless of creed, if you are British living abroad, if you are learning another language for fun, the time will come when you put in the effort and you will see significant reward.
Yeah. Yeah.
I can promise you that. A lot of people, they want to run before they can walk. They want to be world class straight away. Nobody becomes world class straight away. Once again, I'm man enough to admit, Alex, when I started out, I was awful when I
Mm.
started. But now I'm mistaken as someone who's Dutch. I'm not. I'm British. But that just goes to show the level of Dutch that I managed to acquire. But it's
Yeah.
14 years of literally never giving in, and every opportunity that you get to expand your vocabulary, listening
Mm.
to the news, listening to radio shows, speaking to people. I remember going to get my hair cut once, and I was speaking to the lady next to me who was also in the line, and we were chatting, and she said to me, James, she said, it's great that you show so much confidence to want to take part in conversations. I said, yeah. I
Yeah.
said, that's how you become better.
yeah. But you're
I
right,
remember
James.
being in a supermarket when
But James, like I say, confidence, is almost everything. I remember that within the first weeks with the people I was staying with in Costa Rica, I was thinking, right, I'm over here. I'm wanting to find a job to work in an English academy, and I said, right, okay. And the first day I went out on my own, I was really, really scared. I planned the route that I had to go. I had to go for an interview. So anyone who knows Costa Rica, the capital, San Jose, is a hustle bustle. So I was out there trying to find the bus which was going to take me to this academy in San Jose, and I had to say, where can you please help me? Where can I find the bus which is going to take me to this place? And I was saying, right, Alex, if you don't ask a question, if you don't open your mouth, you're not going to make it in time for the interview. So I remember this guy was coming across. I said, right, okay, Alex, come on, try and muster up the confidence. And I said, very slowly, ¿dónde puedo encontrar un parada de autobús para Cayo Blancos? He said, and what I didn't realize, it actually worked. It actually worked. The guy, he responded so quickly. I said, well, más despacio, por favor, porque no está de aquí. I'm not from here. He said, no, okay. You're from England. I said, yes, you speak English. He said, yes, but only a little. But he gave me the directions, but it wouldn't have worked if I didn't muster up, the confidence to actually speak and ask for directions. But like you say, confidence is everything. But don't try and run before you can walk.
No.
Practice. The advice I was given is try and go to small shops, local shops where people are not in so much of a rush. They have time to speak to you, but just study and practice and actually go out there and practice what you've learned. Don't try and run before you can walk. And I was so surprised, James, it actually worked. ¿Dónde puedo encontrar el autobús para viajar a Calle Blanco? So I think, it actually works.
Yeah.
Practice, perfect practice does work. It does
and
work.
I bet you felt fantastic after that.
I did.
I bet you felt like $1 million.
Yeah, maybe £1 million could be. Yeah.
It's the effect. It's the
Yeah,
effect of what you do. I mean, I remember one day when I was struggling in the beginning, and then things started to really come together. And before I know it, I'm kind of emphasizing on my sentences. I'm telling them exactly how I feel. I'm giving my opinion, and I think, this is happening here. And you get to the point where you might have team meetings and nobody puts their hands up. I'll put my hand up. So there's me, born in London, raised just outside. There's me sitting in a Dutch team meeting, taking notes in Dutch. And obviously, people around me are from Rotterdam, from Utrecht, from Amsterdam, from others. But I show the courage. I'll do it, and because that's how you become better. That's how you become better. And like now, for example, it's like second nature. It really is like second nature. But you've also always got to stay modest. You've always got to
absolutely
stay
James.
modest. And remember where you came from. Remember the journey. Because the Netherlands, English is the second language of the Netherlands, and obviously they learn English from the age of 5, and obviously in international environments you get more and more clamour to speak English, but sometimes you'll meet people who say, could you help me in Dutch? Can you help? And then you give them little pointers and you try to help them. Like, for example, a lot of Dutch words are very, very long. Verantwoordelijkheid, for example, bijvoorbeeld, and another one. And one is verantwoordelijkheid is responsibility. Bijvoorbeeld is an example. So sometimes we'll have long words, but you've got to break it down in syllables. If you try to say it all at once, then you might come a little bit tongue-tied. And they always used to say, and they always used to say about double Dutch, where you say things one after the other. But it's just a fantastic skill to have. And I remember
it's so enriching. It's very, very enriching to learn another language. James, let me just quickly go into the live chat. I just need to remind the folks who are just live. There's like 50 odd people who's come in. We've just been reflecting on the comments from Martin Keown has made about Mikel Arteta. He says that he's kind of worried that Mikel Arteta is speaking 4 to 5 languages to the players. And personally, I'm the view, if it means that he has to speak into their mother tongue, then why not? why not? I don't see the problem with that at all. Let's quickly go into the chat. I know it's been like a flurry. Not that we're gonna try and respond to every question because it's going to be a very, very short show. I've got Monty as our moderator who says, "Welcome to all the gooners all over the world, from all over the world, not only from England. Please leave a
Yeah.
thumbs up and subscribe if you are new here." And he says very much onto that. Thank you to each and every one of you. 8,118 new subscribers. Without you, there can never ever be a Canon 4 TV. And I've got Fakar who says, "Welcome everyone watching this video. Thank you very much." And another one, "I'm back." Ninja Derby says, again, we'll. I'm not sure. Do you think we should respond to each comment, James? Do you think? I want to keep it very much on topic about
Yeah, well,
speaking.
this topic is about two British men coming together to speak about their trials and tribulations of learning a foreign language, and to encourage people to never ever give in and to think before they act. Because I'm from Great Britain, I haven't lived there for a long, long time, but I still keep a sharp eye on what goes on.
Yeah.
And when I see rise in xenophobia cases and people bellowing and shouting out at holidaymakers that they need to speak English, these are holidaymakers. And for the people that are very vitriolic, especially you mentioned Unai Emery, it's still apparent in the Arsenal fan base that people have disgusting comments about him. As you say, put them in a situation where they do a press conference in Spanish and see how far they go.
Yeah.
A lot of Arsenal fans thought it was acceptable to mock someone speaking a foreign language. And I just think it's unacceptable. It's unacceptable. You need to look in the mirror first and foremost and think and say to yourself, how many languages do I speak? Am I aware of what that person has gone through to get in the position they are today? You know, some people have higher thresholds of learning. Some people have more patience. But, you know, we've got an opportunity tonight to help people and just for them to be aware, Alex. I mean, what I would like with this podcast, if there's anyone watching this podcast tonight and they're struggling with learning a foreign language and they think, I don't know whether to stop, don't dare stop. Don't dare stop. Nobody, don't let anybody tell you you're not good enough. Don't let anyone tell you you're not good enough, because a language never discriminates against no one, and everyone can improve. Whether you're basic, intermediate, advanced, doesn't matter, and it gives so much. It can give so much to your life, and when you catch these opportunities at a young age, then you can really make it something special. I mean, I came to the Netherlands in my early 20s, and it's the best decision I've ever made in my life. I won't make a better one. I know that, but it's the whole journey. It's the whole journey. I remember reading newspapers. I used to only read the sports section first and foremost. I think after the basics of "Hoi, ik ben James, ik woon in Amsterdam." The translation is "Hi, hello, my name is James, I live in Amsterdam." I was learning football vocabulary such as football, doelpunt, which is goal, and voetbalwedstrijd, which is football match, and that kind of gave me confidence when speaking to people about football. I mean, obviously, you progress speaking about many different subjects,
different topics.
But there was like a start. That was like a start for me, because I was surrounded by Ajax fans and RZ fans and fans of other clubs, and they would ask me about how did Arsenal do this weekend, and I would explain, we hebben verloren, which means we lost, or we hebben gewonnen, which means we won, or we hebben niet goed gespeeld, which means we didn't play very well. You know, and it kind of gives you confidence to really go for it and give you more and more confidence. And you know, I think as a British society as well, we've got an opportunity now and an obligation to be aware, to just be aware. You know, I know immigration is such a sensitive subject for many people, but just before you open your mouth or make someone feel small or kind of try to put them off course, just think to yourself, you know, what position am I in? Who am I to comment? Because a lot of people giving the abuse, Alex, they are in no position to comment. They're in no position to comment, but yet they like to prejudge and they like to kind of say what they want to say without it being without having any comebacks. And I mean, I can't believe that Arsenal have a new manager who's also Spanish, and people are just over the hills and far away with Arteta. The man can do no wrong. But in regards to Unai Emery, it's the complete opposite. But I remind you, when Unai Emery was doing his press conferences, picking up the phone of the journalist and having a chat and telling people that he watches Peaky Blinders, you had people saying, "My manager, my G," and now they're saying the same about the following one. So I think it can be very hollow. You know, as I say, we are in a podcast tonight to just educate people that little bit more. And as I say, it's just an opportunity for people to learn, because there are some people who are not successful in learning languages. These people are there as well, but language doesn't discriminate. Everyone can do it. It's just you've got to really, really want it, and you've really got to fight for it.
Yeah. Let me go into the live chat. It's been again, we want to try and stay on task. We were talking about learning a different language. We're just talking about Martin Keown and his comments about Arteta speaking various languages, and he said literally, it should be one language. I disagree. Personally, I appreciate the fact that Arteta is multilingual. He can coach anywhere in the world. He can bring in any players from any place in the world and coach them confidently. Well said, Isaac. Let Arteta speak to his players whatever language they understand best, so they can get the instructions better, to avoid saying, "Oh, coach, I didn't get what you were saying." Thank you for that, Isaac. Really, really good. Let's have a look. Again, let's just try and stay on topic, please. It's gonna be a very, very short one. I'm just trying to pick and choose. Let's have a look here. Sorry, James.
Not to worry.
All right, okay. Josh B says, I believe that it's great to know multiple languages, and knowing multiple languages is beneficial. Again, it opens so many doors of opportunities, but I guess it's never too late, because I was learning Spanish when I was in my late 30s, early 40s. I ended up going to Costa Rica when I was 42. So it's never too late. It's never too late.
Never too late. Never too late. And there's like a small kind of fire that burns. Like I speak a little bit of Portuguese. I can manage with Portuguese with just the basics, but part of me thinks that in future I will go down that road.
Me too.
I like Lisbon. I like Porto. They're both beautiful cities, and who knows what the future will bring. But timing is also very important, and it's just a fantastic skill to have. As I say, one of the best skills that any human can possess.
Rodriguez says, great topic, such truth. I've been learning Chinese. Learning language is important. Okay, there's a bit of message there for you, James. I don't understand. I think it's
he's saying that he's lived in he's been living in Amsterdam for 2 years, and I believe he's still living in Amsterdam. I'm going to give him a small message in Dutch. Maybe he'll understand, maybe he won't. Bedankt voor je bericht. Zeer gewaardeerd. Niet opgeven. Altijd doorgaan. En vertrouwen is heel belangrijk. The literal translation of that is that, thanking him for his message and letting him know to never give up. Confidence is vitally important. And he's done very well at the end of the sentence with 4 jaar, because that means for 2 years. But that's perfect, wonderful, and he will get better as time goes on. There's absolutely, he's made a good start. It takes time. I mean, I was like a man possessed. I was like a man possessed. Alex, I used to carry a notebook around. I used to carry a notebook around and note little things down. I remember being in a supermarket and saying, and not understanding one word of the advertisement, and the cashier lady behind me helped me to tell me what it was. And it's just the things, reading in a foreign language as well. There's a famous biography about Louis van Gaal that was written a long time ago by an author, and it was published only in Dutch. And I read that book cover to cover many years ago, and it kind of helped me with the little facts and figures about Louis van Gaal. And it was a really, really good read. Wow, also, the book of Frank Rijkaard was also an excellent read.
Josh B says, I agree with you, James.
Thank you, Josh.
On the contrary, we have Gabriel Solano who says Arteta needs to communicate only in English. Well, that's okay. It's your opinion. Again, I
Absolutely.
just think it's more enriching if you've got a coach who's multilingual. You've got to think as well. Look at Gabriel. His first language is not English, so he's going to need that communication in Portuguese until he's like up to speed. But I think it's good to have a coach who can speak in so many different languages. I'm not sure what.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And I respect Gabriel's opinion, and
Yeah.
it's everyone's each to their own, especially respecting every Arsenal Gooner's opinion. But it's a multicultural society now. Look at the squads. Look at the back of your programs where there's Brazilian flag, French flag, German flag, Spanish flag, and it's a multicultural society and also multicultural football squads. So that's also very important.
Yeah. Let me just go through this last week before we end up this bite size. I mean, that takes me back, James. 2-3 o'clock in the morning. BBC bite size Spanish. Oh my goodness! I'm from Kenya National League. Sorry,
but look at the reward.
Yeah.
Look at this is what I mean about the fight. This is what I mean. I mean, I used to carry a notebook around me. I used to go to watch Ajax, and I would chat to fellow fans, and they would say to me, you're an Arsenal fan? I said, yeah. And I would explain to them in Dutch about living in Amsterdam, watching Ajax play. My team is Arsenal, and it was great fun. Great fun, and it's just. But you got to be modest. However good you are, just always stay modest. Just that little bit of class, just adds to the finesse as well.
All right. So Isaac says that I'm from Kenya. National language is Swahili. I know that. We also speak English. I'm trying to learn German on my own. Fantastic, Isaac.
Fantastic.
Again,
Isaac.
like James says, don't give up. No matter what the people are saying, whether your pronunciation, your articulation is not right, never give up. Just keep going. But never feel like you know it all. Okay, just keep going. There's always something to learn in a new language.
Absolutely. I think we're helping a fair few people tonight. I think it's job done, isn't it?
There you go, James. There's one there for you, James.
Now that translates to what an awesome guest.
Oh wow!
And what an awesome guest, what an awesome guy. So thank you very much. I'll respond to him in Dutch. Bedankt voor zo'n mooie compliment. Het is zeer gewaardeerd. That translates to thank you very much for such a nice compliment. It's really appreciated.
Well, thank you for that, CG. Thank you very much. Just last couple now, and people should think about the possibility that some of the players can pick up the languages if they didn't know it before. But that's a fantastic point. Fantastic
Absolutely.
point. Maybe Absolutely. It's last few. Let's have a look here. Okay. Martin says, I speak English and Afrikaans. Afrikaans is very close to Dutch. Oh, yeah. Yeah, there you go.
There are similarities. There are very similarities. It's absolutely right there. Absolutely right.
He's got a message there for you as well, James.
He's mentioning about being able to watch the videos, and he enjoys watching the videos. But you also see, I believe, in the South African national anthem, I think you can see Afrikaans being sung as well in the, I believe, South African national anthem. If my memory serves me rightly.
Wow. I am about to start my sophomore year at high school, and I will make an effort to continue. No, don't make an effort. Do it. Never give up. Okay, and apply Spanish language when I start learning it. Fantastic. Really, really good.
Yeah, fantastic, Josh. All the buena suerte con todo. Poco a poco.
Poco a poco. Es más suave, lento. Sí, tranquilo, con mucha tranquilidad. Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you. There you go. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah. He wrote, "Thank you very much" in Dutch. I'll respond, "Graag gedaan. You're welcome," and "Ga zo door," which means keep going.
She says, "Hola, Alex. ¿Cómo estás hoy? Hoy, bien, muy bien, gracias. Gracias. ¿Y tú, cómo estás? ¿Todo bien? ¿Su familia, su mamá, su padre, cómo están?" William Jogo, okay, bonito. No. Right, I think we're going to wrap this one up. I'm going to wrap this one up. But before I do, James, I want to say, literally, it's always a pleasure, James, to have you on the Canal 40 TV platform. Really, really, really joyful. Again, it's only a bite size. We spoke about this a couple of days ago to all our live viewers. I've just seen his numbers gone up to like 150.
Mm.
Fantastic. That would never happen, back in the earlier days. But to each and every one of you, thank you very much. James, do you want to say anything? Fantastic. Really, really enjoyed it.
Yeah, fantastic. And as I say, if there's anyone watching tonight who's a little bit worried about learning a foreign language or a little bit shy, I'll leave you with a final message, which is language doesn't discriminate. If you give everything you've got, you will see significant progress. And what I mean by everything you've got, it doesn't mean that you've got to make yourself crazy. You've just got to show the fight and you've got to show the will. And if you show that, you will notice, as Alex and I mentioned earlier on in the podcast, you will start to go up levels. And then your confidence will grow, and before you know it, you're doing things that you didn't think were possible. So there's a world of opportunity out there, and my message to everybody is take your time, relax, and above all, enjoy it as well. It's always a process which has got to be enjoyed.
Yeah, but also as James says, don't think like you know it all, because there's always words, phrases, that you can learn from, and in each language, there are different accents. Because where my wife comes from in Colombia, I mean, maybe to the south, the accents are quite strong there. So never feel like you know everything. Always continue. A language is continued learning. There's always opportunities there for you. There's just one more comment here. It is off topic. It's about where's the join button for the memberships. We've just opened up the membership scheme to each and every one of you. The membership join button should be next to the subscribe button. So if you look to where you subscribed, the button should be saying join. So if you look to the left, it should be right there. And so it's open to each and every one of you. James, it's been an absolute pleasure to have you back on Cannon for TV. We're going to have you back very, very soon, before you know it.
Yeah, you're more than welcome, and I really enjoyed it tonight, and great to give something different to the people. And as I say, if people are watching, if they've taken something from it, then that's fantastic. And keep up the good work, everybody, and up the Arsenal as well.
Fantastic. And if by chance you've just been wondering, if you're new, who or what you've been listening to, you've been listening to Cannon Fodder, the channel for Arsenal fans all over this world.